Welcome to the Confident Retirement Podcast. How confident are you when it comes to life's biggest money decisions? What is real financial peace and how can you get it? Chris Flaming and Mark Peachy are the founders of LPF Advisors in Sarasota, Florida. They bring together the brightest minds to show you how to have a more confident financial future. They empower listeners with common sense concepts and financial wisdom. And now, here are your hosts, LPF Advisors. Hey, I want to welcome everybody to the Confident Retirement Podcast brought to you by LPF Advisors. I'm your host here, as always, Chris Flaming. And our legal disclaimer, I'll try to do this all in one breath. I am providing information that is our opinion, not necessarily that of our firm or the platform. It's general education stuff only and not customized investment recommendations. You should not construe anything as financial, tax, or legal advice or recommendations, and you should consult with your own professionals, advisors, tax attorneys, or tax advisors on your specific situation. All right. Today, I have the pleasure of welcoming Collin Habig to the show. He is one of our recently added associates to the LPF Advisor family. He currently carries the Certified Financial Planner certification. I think he keeps it in his pocket. And he has experience in risk management, corporate retirement planning, and equity compensation. We'll get into that a little bit later, but does have a broad skill set, and he believes each client situation is unique and strategies must be tailored to meet their specific needs. Collin, thanks for being here. Welcome to the show.
Yes, Chris, thanks for having me.
We're actually across the hall from each other. He's in one room, I'm in another, but it seems like we're doing this on a professional basis. So let's get going. First question I have, you have kind of an interesting backstory. So tell me briefly how you came quickly to be in the business and also how you came to be with us, join up with LPF Advisors.
Yeah, it's actually a very good question. So originally started out, wasn't sure what I wanted to do as a profession all around, but then I learned a little bit about financial planning. I got into the corporate side of things and sat behind a desk and didn't talk to anybody all day, and I hated it. So I am more focused on sitting down with clients face to face, but I wanted to be in a profession where I'm able to help people directly, and you can't do that when you're not talking to people. So that was a big thing for me, is I wanted to be able to assist people, help people achieve their goals, and I'm able to do that by being a financial planner.
Okay, great. Now, are there maybe some events or some ideals that shaped your life that led you to choose the profession? Was there something that happened, or was it just a series of things or a conclusion that you came to yourself?
Yeah, so I grew up in a middle-class household, but didn't come up without its struggles. And I know my parents, they've worked very hard for what they have. But I know personally, if my mom had a financial planner, then she'd be in a better scenario than where she was. She'd done a very, very good job for herself. But I think early on in her career, she didn't necessarily have that professional guidance. And there were stories that surrounded that really solidified this career for me. And if I'm able to help people individually, that's truthfully why I'm here.
Okay. Now, you've been at just a couple other firms prior to joining up with us. One thing you've told me in past conversations that we had is you do appreciate the independent aspect of things. So what is it maybe about independence that you appreciate most for you and also for the clients that you have, the people that you serve?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So I started out my career at Edward Jones, which was great. They really gave us the all-around platform just to get started and figure things out. But as our clientele grew and as our clientele changed to be more focused on either it's tax planning, estate planning, we just needed more tools that we weren't able to bring in or use third parties when working with a broker dealer like that. So I would really say that the open architecture and being able to use some of the best technology on the marketplace, that's been a huge piece for us because it just allows us so much more flexibility when it comes to planning for client scenarios. And not every client's the same. So you might be using different tools for different people. And it just truthfully helps us provide better service all around.
Yeah, and I can interject just a little bit. I also think that the people that we work with can have a confidence that we're coming at this from an angle where we're trying to come up with the best solutions for their particular situation, and we're not guided or pushed along by somebody else or some other entity, where we can come up with the solutions that are going to work best in their situation that are in their best interest. because of that open architecture, because of having choice.
Absolutely. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more.
Okay, so maybe as a kind of just like as a follow-up question to that, was there something specific that attracted you to partnering with LPF advisors? Because certainly on the independent part of things, right, there's a lot of independent choices that exist, that platform exists. So what was the connection to us other than the weather?
Yeah, so that was a big one. Moving from Massachusetts to Florida, the weather was a huge one.
Mm.
I would say it's a number of things. So number one is you and Mark have been great mentors to me, but being on that broker dealer channel, you're a one person shop. You might have one admin person, but being part of a team that has, over 100 years of experience altogether, there's so many ways to bounce ideas off of each other. And it truthfully just allows so much more thought process and guidance around certain scenarios that maybe myself, I haven't even seen. But it's just being part of a team was a huge part for me. But the weather is also,
Yeah.
the weather also doesn't hurt.
Well, the team thing is you bring up an important point there about team approaches, because that is a different model than being a solo practitioner. So what have you seen as being a big advantage of the team approach? Because that is something that we want clients to know and be aware of, is that we have a lot of people here who are available to help you. We have backup plans, we have succession plans, we all have our strengths, and we want to serve the clients as a team. Of course, they have an advisor that they work with specifically, but we want them to know that we've got their back.
Right. Absolutely. And I feel like that we'll get into it later, like you said, but it falls into our niche. So I feel as though being part of a team where everybody has an understanding of what's going on in that niche and what these clients are seeing on an everyday basis, for the whole team to understand what's going on. When clients call in, they have a question, they don't have to second guess, hey, maybe I should only be talking to this one person. I'm able to talk to anybody on the team because everybody has a different perspective, but they all have the knowledge on what's going on around either their retirement plans or their personal situation.
Okay, great. So then, has there been something that you've enjoyed a lot, or what have you enjoyed so far about the clients that we are dedicated to serving? Same maybe our niches. What do you like about that?
Every day is a new day.
Mhm.
Everybody's situation is the same. And although they might have similar questions and similar concerns, not everybody's in the same situation. So it allows like I said, every day is a new opportunity to either learn something new or help clients in a different way. But our clients are people just like us, and they want to hear from us, and they also want guidance that we have to provide. And they're looking for us for assistance.
Yeah, and the way I think about it is, and what I've often told clients in initial meetings is, we probably know as much or more about your financial situation than anybody else. And so, if you've got a big financial decision facing you, investment wise or investment related or not, if it's financial in nature and you want our opinion, you want our comment, you want us to help you make that choice, we're here, we're available, and we can guide you with that, try to come up the best way forward or the best path. Okay, so now
Absolutely.
you've also developed an expertise in certain areas of what we call equity compensation. So maybe tell us a little bit about how that came to be.
Yep. So that was one of those things that it just fell into my lap around Boston, as there's a lot of technology companies and a lot of
Mhm.
biotech companies. So when I first started in my career, I know I wanted to focus on something that I enjoyed and something that was, like I said, new every day. And that was the equity compensation. So I ended up getting referral to someone at Moderna, and they had questions surrounding their equity compensation. And as that was around the time when COVID happened.
Mhm.
So when that happened, everybody had questions concerning their stock options, their RSUs. So I did a few seminars at the beginning and just wanted to provide education. And that led to people reaching out individually to say, hey, what do you think about my situation? What should I be doing? What do these stock options even mean?
Yeah.
And how do I manage them? So that's really where that whole equity compensation niche got started, and we just ran with it.
Okay. Now, maybe on a high level, we won't get into the weeds today, but maybe on a high level, talk a little bit about what are some of the specific financial planning issues that people face with those kinds of decisions when you're dealing with equity compensation?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the big one is, when should we sell?
Yeah, of course.
And we always try to let the client know that it's not around a certain price, but it's all based on your goals and what you want to achieve financially. But a lot of the concerns stem from, when's the right time to sell? How should I be doing it? And where do I even go to sell these options? But on the back end of it, it's, a lot of people don't understand the tax planning around it. They don't know, hey, I'm only withholding a certain amount of taxes. So what am I going to owe at the end of the year? And they really need help on just understanding what the differences are in the stock options and RSUs, but also determining on the right process to sell
Okay.
based on their
And
situation.
yeah, and maybe go into a little bit about how you approach helping those clients make important decisions because it can affect their financial future. There's obviously a financial component to it, but I'm assuming because of the size of the awards and the movement of the stock price that it also becomes an emotional too.
Absolutely. That's the biggest thing that we fight, is the emotion side of it.
Mm-hmm.
So we approach it all from when people come in for a first appointment. Everything is, and I hate to say complimentary because it sounds salesy, but it's not. It's just so people can come in, we're going to answer their questions, but it really helps us figure out where they are in their lives and what it is that they're trying to achieve. So what I always say is that in that first appointment, it's just so you and I can get to know each other. But at the same time, I'm doing all my nerd work to figure out, all right, what's the deeper level here and what are we looking at for goals 5, 10, 15 years, even 20 years down the road? And how does that equity compensation play a factor?
Yeah.
And certain people don't want to take on a lot of risk. And when your net worth is 90% tied up in either Moderna stock or some kind of company stock, that poses a big issue.
Certainly can. They could get wealthy concentrating in that one stock, but the harder problem might be over time is staying wealthy by concentrating or not concentrating. Okay. Now you spoke to this a little bit about, so it's not a one and done transaction thing, that we're not looking for those types of relationships with people because we want to invest in them and we want to have a relationship with them over a long period of time. So maybe go through with me what you feel like a planning relationship with a client looks like, and what we're looking for at LPF Advisors, the ones that we want to invest our time in.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say the biggest one is clients that are looking for guidance. Where we want to work with the people that want help. And like you said, where it's not one and done, we're not here to sell a product. We're really here to, and it sounds cheesy, but grow old with our clients and make sure that we're guiding them down the right path, especially when they either start to look at having kids or buying a house or paying for their kids' weddings, that kind of stuff. So it's not a one and done. This is really a lifetime relationship. So I always tell people, at least look at a couple of other advisors just to make sure that we're the right fit, because overall, this isn't meant to be a short-term relationship, and I'm here to grow old with all of our clients.
Yeah, it shouldn't be a one-time thing if we can prevent that. And I've said to people, if you're going to meet with others, just make sure I'm the last one.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, make
Absolutely.
sure that but we're joking about that, but I often think of it in terms of we don't even, and you've been in a lot of meetings with me, and I've been in some of your meetings where we may not even have product or investment conversations until this third or fourth meeting, because first we need to learn what's important to the person, what their goals are, what they value. Then we can come up with a solution, which is the plan. And then the things that we need to implement and use to make that plan work will become clear.
Right.
But not until those other things are done and done well can we come to a conclusion about what the strategies are that we might use or implement in order to make it happen.
Yep. I agree. And it's always, in that first appointment, we always get asked what they should do. People always ask us immediately, what should I be doing?
Yeah.
And I just met you. I don't know
Right.
anything about you, so it wouldn't be prudent of me to make a
Yeah.
recommendation in that first appointment.
The doctors aren't writing out the scripts to people like within the first 5 minutes on what they need to go pick up at the pharmacy. There's a lot of information that they want to know. And along those same lines, I'm curious what you think. So they make those immediate decisions. Maybe they have some things going on right now that they need help with. But what do you see as being the benefit of partnering on an ongoing basis when it's comprehensive? What's the long-term benefit of that to the client?
Yeah, absolutely. And it touches on what you said earlier. It's when people are left to their own demise, that's where the issues happen, because it's all human nature and people are going to react emotionally to certain things. So we're here to hold their hands through all of life stages to help them make rational decisions. And sometimes we can use that emotion to help guide them with where they truly want to go. But it's really all our job is 90% helping them emotionally and 10% helping financially. But it's true because we're really here to help people achieve those goals, and we have to help them get emotionally in the right mindset. So that's definitely a huge piece.
And I do think that's where it gets missed. Okay. What I mean by that is the opinion is, or the take is, that everyone's a rational being. And if they just had these 10 things that they did right, then they just made these decisions, then they don't need an advisor. And I will readily admit there are some people that can do it on their own. They can do it themselves if they want to invest the time and stay on top of it. But the reality is a lot of people just don't want to do that. They have other things that are more important to them. And what I think is missed is that behavioral guidance, that behavioral hand-holding that we do with people on all those big life decisions, that if they either get that decision right or wrong, could change the trajectory maybe of their life or their family's life going forward. And that's where the value lies in an advisor relationship and the people that we want to work with that see there's a benefit to that and they want to partner with us to do that.
Absolutely. And I'll add a little bit to that. So like you said, where they might have something that's more important to them than focusing on, hey, when should I be selling? They want someone that's going to help them make those decisions because they're too busy to make them on their own or to really look at, hey, what's going on in my financial picture? So they're really helping us gain their time back. We're helping them gain their time back just by doing so.
And there's a value to that. Right.
Agreed.
To them. And then they can only perceive what that is and then determine if it makes sense. Okay. If someone wants to get in touch with you and contact or find you on the World Wide Web, how do they do that?
Yeah, so the easiest would be if you go to our website, lpfadvisors.com. All of our contact information is on there. You can contact me directly or our marketing director and directly as well. So that's going to be the easiest way to get a hold of us. Okay, awesome. Well, I appreciate you, Collin, coming on today. It's been a true pleasure having you on, even though you're just right across the hall. Yep. Yeah, that's right. And I want to thank everybody for tuning in today to the Confident Retirement Podcast, brought to you by LPF Advisors, where we're hoping to raise the financial confidence of everyday people to another level, one show at a time. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. And thanks again, Collin. Chris, thank you. Yep, appreciate it. We'll see everybody next time.
You've been listening to the Confident Retirement Podcast with Chris and Mark from LPF Advisors. For more information on them and retiring confidently, please visit lpfadvisors.com. If your ears are pleased and your mind is now at ease, do share the program with your friends and subscribe wherever podcasts are found.